President Trump taken to task at his town hall over whether he is going to protect pre-existing conditions in his still unannounced healthcare plan. An undecided voter who suffers from the chronic medical condition sarcoidosis demanded to know if Trump would keep the same insurance protections as Obamacare. So she asked Trump point blank, what was he going to do to protect people like her?
Should pre-existing conditions which Obamacare brought to fruition be removed?
No.
Please stop and let me finish my question, sir. Should that be removed within a 36 to 72 hour period without my medication? I will be dead. And I want to know what it is that you're going to do to assure that people like me who work hard, we do everything we're supposed to do, can stay insured. It's not my fault that I was born with this disease. It's not my fault that I'm a black woman and in the medical community I'm minimized and not taken seriously. I want to know what you are going to do about that.
So, first of all, I hope you are taken seriously. I hope you are.
Alicia Black is joining us now to discuss this moment. She is an assistant professor of African literature at Kutztown University. You were obviously very firm there and very clear in the question that you had to ask the president. Tell us what your reaction was to the answer that you got back.
The answer that I received from the president actually broke my heart and made me extremely angry. In fact, when the event concluded and I left Constitution Hall, I sat on one of the walls and I broke down and I cried. Because he did not address the question at all. What he did was he took what I said about Obamacare and flew with that in order to chop Barack Obama and the ACA to shreds and to attempt to chop Joe Biden to shreds because he was one of the most important people in creating the Affordable Care Act. For the record, I do not get the ACA. I'm insured by the state of Pennsylvania because I work for the state of Pennsylvania. And even though it is very expensive for me because I'm a single income, I have no children, but I have a single income, and it's expensive to live where I live with all the medications, the co-pays, and the testing, etc., and I get quite a bit. That's not my complaint. My complaint and my problem is that as sick and disabled people who have diseases we cannot control, we were born with and are stuck with for life, we are thrown away like trash. We are treated like he treated me. He fluffed me off like soot on the bottom of his $3,000 pair of shoes, and I resent it. We have a right to live, we have a right to life, and we have a right to be treated equally within the medical community and among insurance companies. Without the pre-existing condition rule, insurance companies are going to revert straight back to Loma 1 through 10, and they're going to put a morbidity date on my life, which I have already passed. And I will be uninsured again.
Alicia, you were there for this whole town hall, and you watched the president answer your question and others. Did you get the impression that he understands how healthcare works?
No, not at all. Not at all. He repeats himself redundantly about how Obamacare is a disaster, but he never talks specifics because I can tell over the last 3.5 years that I paid very close attention to this man. He does not read. And if he does read, he's not reading thoroughly, and he's not reading the way I read, with a notepad and a highlighter and taking notes so that I know what the little persnickety details are about what it is that I do read, because that's where the most important information is. And he doesn't do that. And he also comes from a position where he needs nothing. He can gain anything he wants at any given time from the day he was born. I was born into West Oak Lane, Philadelphia, by a wonderful single mother who raised her kids without a welfare check or a food stamp, and a grandmother who helped us out and told us we can be better than into what we were born. And I have done everything that I possibly can to do that, and people like that should not be thrown away. People with diabetes shouldn't be thrown away because they have diabetes.
No, certainly I think many people connect with you on that point. I wonder going into this, were you undecided? Obviously you have a lot of concerns with the president right now. Were you undecided, and where are you now?
My indecision wasn't about whether to vote for Trump or Biden. That wasn't the indecision. The indecision was whether to vote or not. For the first time in my life, I did not, since I was 18, I didn't vote in the primaries. I just sat in my car disgusted. And so I didn't vote in the primaries. And with everything that has taken place over the summer, I've sat in my car and just cried because I can't believe all these people are dying, all these black people are being shot, all this disrespect between Americans on the street. It doesn't make sense to me, and politicians, I don't care who they are, Democrats, independents, Republicans, they don't seem to, really care about us on the block. They don't care about the people who are actually living it. They don't live it. They're beyond it. Because they're politicians, they get good paychecks, they have excellent health care, their jobs are secure. That's not how it works where I live. I live right around the corner from Reading, Pennsylvania. I lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'm from Philadelphia. That's not the way it works where we live. We have to struggle. I become a professional to rob Peter and pay Paul because I'm so overtaxed because my tax bracket is in the middle where I pay for the rich and I pay for the poor and there's nothing left for myself, okay? And they don't care about that. They don't care that there are millions of people who are suffering trying to figure out how they're gonna pay rent or being evicted. It is of no fault of their own that they lost their job and that they can't get another one in their field. These people should be considered.
So they should be considered. And you talk about not being sure if you are going to vote. You've heard the president often say to African American voters they should vote for him because, quote, what do you have to lose? I wonder what your reaction is to that.
As I said on a television show in 2016, the thing I have to lose is my dignity. The dignity of my ancestors. I'm a black Indian, so I have ancestors and family on both sides of annexation and slavery. I'm not going to lose my dignity or the dignity of my ancestors to a man who has no respect for a person's ethnicity, where they come from, what their struggles are. He just chops us to shreds and throws us away. And then when he finds one who he thinks agrees, he points to them and says, that's my African American. I'm not owned, okay? That's over. I can't respect that. But what I wanted to do was give him a fair opportunity to address my personal issue. I wanted to be objective. I stayed calm. I didn't disrespect him in any way. I stood up when the man walked up the stairs to get to the stage. And what he did to every single person in that room who posed a question was disrespect us utterly by lying, manipulating, and basically not answering our questions at all. And
so Alicia, explain then your reticence to vote and why you think maybe you just aren't going to cast a ballot in November.
Because I'm 57 years old. I've been a dedicated, voter since I was 18 years old. And what have I ever achieved or gained from it? Nothing. I don't care if it was a Democrat, a Republican, Obama, it doesn't matter. I really did not gain much, if anything, from their presidency. So what is the point? And that's where I was until I got home last night.
And now?
The person who drove me home is a newly minted citizen from Turkey. And we were talking about his family in Istanbul and making comparisons, and he's so grateful to be in the United States and excited to cast his vote. How dare I, an American-born citizen, not cast one of my own? And that's what changed my mind. So I am voting for the Biden-Harris ticket. And even though I do so with trepidation, I am, as you can partially see behind me, I'm a James Baldwin fan. And the year I was born in 1963, James Baldwin said that he can't be a pessimist because he is alive. And so neither can I. I'm going to go ahead and put my heart on the line again. And I'm going to go ahead and cast that ballot and keep my fingers crossed and pray to my God that maybe this time somebody will hear my tears and feel my pain and feel the tears and pain of tens of millions of people across America who are disabled, who are sick, who are underinsured, uninsured, or pay stacks of cash to be insured, whose life is something that is a gift. Sooner or later, the sarcoidosis of my brain is going to make me have a stroke or just kill me flat out. And the older I get, the closer it gets. But I'm going to go ahead and use these years that I have left and have faith in the country in which I was born. I teach the Constitution for a living. I believe in it. And I'm going to go ahead and go with my gut and cast that ballot and hope that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will do right by people like me, because this isn't about just me. This is about millions just like me. And that is what I want people to understand.
Alicia, thank you so much. Alicia Black, we appreciate your words.
Thank you so much.
Any moment, Joe Biden